Welcome to this module on life cycle assessment. My name is Daniel Posen, and I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Civil and Mineral Engineering at the University of Toronto. I'd like to start by asking you a question. Will electric vehicles help us reduce our greenhouse gas emissions? What about biofuels? And are plant-based and compostable plastics better than their conventional alternatives? Always? Are you sure? Although it may seem simple to identify green alternatives, questions like these are often very difficult to answer in reality. This is where life cycle assessment comes in. Life cycle assessment is a systematic method to assess the environmental impacts of a product or system throughout its life cycle, from production to distribution to use and disposal. Some of you may have heard of this before, perhaps as cradle-to-grave or cradle-to-cradle analysis. The basic idea is simple. Look at all the inputs and emissions associated with a product system, add them up, and if you like, compare to other products. The most complicated math you'll need in this section involves multiplication, division, and addition. The problem is that this simple-sounding task of looking at all the inputs and emissions is actually no simple task at all. Even something as simple as a paperclip might require you to understand the energy required for coiling the metal, the amount of steel per clip, the amount of iron and carbon for making that steel, the equipment needed to make those inputs, and so on, all the way back to infinity. And we haven't even yet defined which environmental impacts we're looking at. We're definitely going to need a framework to help us approach the problem. In this module, we'll first provide a conceptual introduction to LCA. Next, we'll walk through a simplified example together to see what's actually involved in conducting an LCA. Finally, we'll look at some applications of LCA towards guiding policies aimed at reducing greenhouse gas emissions. In particular, the learning outcomes for this module are for you to be able to explain the concept of life cycle assessment and how it can be used, describe the main components of the LCA framework, construct a simplified LCA model, and discuss applications of LCA for climate policy. Throughout this module, I want you to keep in mind that there is rarely a single correct answer when we attempt to evaluate the environmental impacts of a product or policy. These models require numerous assumptions and decisions on the part of the analyst, and so often the best we can hope for is that the results will point us in the right direction. I'd like you to use this introduction to life cycle assessment as your window into the broader world of life cycle thinking, a process that aims to consider connections between systems to provide a holistic evaluation of the total impacts, positive or negative, of products and actions. But let's return to our main objective. What is LCA? In the next section, we will explore the main components of an LCA model and discuss how LCA can be used. I look forward to guiding you through the rest of this module.